Big dog status, I'm a big dog, bitch. I pull up on the block.
Every episode of The Spillover, my goal is to have the most interesting conversations and hear jaw-dropping stories from people that you may or may not have heard of before. And you know what world we haven't dived into yet on the show? The wild, dramatic, and cutthroat world of Instagram fashion influencers and mommy bloggers. Today's guest is someone who a lot of you already follow, and there are a lot of twists and turns to her story. For one, this momfluencer literally got pregnant just in case her husband died in combat. Meanwhile, she built her own social media brand, and then the world shut down and life as we all knew it came to an end. You know what moment in time I'm talking about. People were locked inside, they were losing their jobs, and cities were burning down, literally. This influencer, who usually posts her outfits and pictures of her family, decided to take a huge risk and test the waters by posting something controversial about her personal beliefs. And I'm saying controversial because it's controversial to those on the left. It's not controversial to you and I. And immediately, she faced the same intimidation tactics that so many of us encounter every day on social media. She lost endorsement deals, followers, and briefly, the confidence to stand her ground. But recently, that's all changed, and she's here to tell us why and how. We cover love, the stakes surrounding her first pregnancy, the downsides of influencer life, whether or not she'd let her daughter be an influencer, the secret drama behind the scenes between influencers, and how she went from a total social media blacklisting from other people to dining at Mar-a-Lago alongside, well, you know who. Momservatives, this one is dedicated to all of you. Please warmly welcome Instagram fashion influencer, Lipstick Heels and a Baby, aka Jessica Faye, to The Spillover. Are you talking to me in your closet right now, Jess?
I am. Welcome.
I love that you're talking to me in your closet. It's so freaking chic. And what did you call it? A cloffice?
Office. It's my closet and office. That side's like the messy closet.
This is like, I couldn't dream of a better, if for those of you that are just listening, you have to go to the POPlitics YouTube just so you can at least see what I'm seeing right now. Because Jess, if I could pick like the picture perfect setting for me to talk to my first official IG blogger, fashion blogger, it would be what you're talking to me in, which is so funny. It's perfect.
I love it.
So I have to say, I was telling you off air, but I'll say it again for CUTEservatives so that they can hear. My best friend, Lauren, sent me your profile and she fell in love with you. I fell in love with you. I started following you a couple months ago and you have the most beautiful house, the most beautiful family. And how many kids do you have?
I have 3 kids.
3 kids, which is amazing. I mean, you're just living the dream. And so I want to know how you and your husband actually met.
Well, we actually met in North Carolina. So my husband is a former Green Beret. So whenever we met, he was going through the Q course. So he was at training in and out a lot. And so we met at a bar and I was not into him the first time we met.
What was it about him that you weren't into him?
He was very cocky and confident, very full of himself. He still is at the age of 42, but some things never change. But so we met, he went away from training. He came back like 2 weeks later, contacted me. And that was back in the day of, there was only Facebook. So he reached out on Facebook, found me. And then we had kind of we went on our first date and from there, it took off. But the first night I met him, I was not into him. But that was in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay, I feel like I can hear some North Carolina accent on you.
It comes out sometimes. Yeah.
So you were married right before your husband was deployed to Afghanistan?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And then within 2 weeks, you got pregnant?
Yeah. Well, okay. So within 2 months, we got pregnant.
Okay, within two months.
Yeah, so then we had our son. The PCS moved us down to Florida, which is why we're here now. He was at 7th Group. It's just north of Destin, if you're not familiar. And so they moved us down here and we were down here for 6 weeks. So when my son was 8 weeks old, he got sent to Afghanistan.
And you kind of had a mission. This is what's interesting about your story to me.
Yes.
You had a mission to get pregnant. Explain what that mission was and why.
Yes. So we ended up getting married quickly because we knew that he would start deploying. We knew he was going to be moved eventually. So we got married. We actually only dated for probably 6 months before we got engaged.
Wow.
We were married about 4 months after that. We were not together long. When you know, you know.
Everyone always says that, and I famously hate when people say that as somebody who's still not married. I'm dating, I have a boyfriend, but I'm not married. And so when I ask people, like, how do you know? And they always say, you just know.
You're gonna know. You are gonna know. Well, maybe not the first date, but
right. So you find him, and you're like, he's gonna be deployed. I need to get pregnant. Why?
Because heaven forbid something happened to him. I'm like shaking thinking about it. I did not want to not have part of him with me forever. So as selfish as that might seem, like I needed to have him with me all the time. And so we thankfully got pregnant very quickly. And so we were pregnant within 2 months of being married.
Did you know that you were pregnant before your husband left or after he had left?
Well, during training, so he didn't actually deploy until Braden was 8 weeks old.
Okay.
So I had already had our son, which that's why I started my blog, was because he was deployed and I was at home with an 8-week-old. And while they sleep all the time, I was bored.
So you were bored. And so you had this idea, like, what? I'm going to start posting pictures of, what was the first stuff that you were posting pictures of? Was it outfits or your family or what?
It was actually YouTube, which is humiliating. Please no one go find those. And it's hair tutorials.
Humble beginnings. So many people say that they started out on YouTube doing hair tutorials. I should have done that.
Horrible.
Oh my gosh. And so just describe the feeling of, okay, so you have this baby, your baby's 8 weeks old, your husband deploys, because I'm sure that was one of the most, that was obviously one of the happiest times in your life, but also one of the scariest too, knowing that I have this 8-week-old baby and my husband's leaving.
Yes. And I actually ended up having really bad postpartum. I think part of that was due to Ryan being gone. I'm raising a newborn baby, my first one by myself. And so they had, it's a long story, I don't want to get into all of it, but they moved us down to Florida. We were down here for a couple of weeks. They sent him to Afghanistan. I did not know a soul down here. So I actually ended up going up to live with my parents back in North Carolina. So as sketchy as it sounds, I was living in my parents' basement, starting a vlog, taking care of a newborn while my husband is in Afghanistan. And like their basement was really nice. Like I had a kitchen, like it wasn't like a sketch, but
I had a kitchen.
I did live in my parents' basement for like 5 or 6 months.
But a new baby and everything. I like that, having the family around to kind of help be there and stuff. I think that's important for a new mom.
I had no clue what I was doing.
How do you prepare for the possibility of raising a baby potentially without a dad? I mean, how do you prepare for the unthinkable of being widowed, especially after only a few weeks of marriage? I'm assuming that you and your husband had those conversations before he left.
We did. Unfortunately, like you sign, like he basically signs his life away to me. Heaven forbid something happen. But I don't know that you can prepare for that. I really don't think that it's possible.
Do military wives have conversations, though, with their husbands? Like, okay, what do you want your child to know about you if you're not here anymore? What do you want me to tell them? Or how do you want me to raise them? Did you talk about things like that?
He did. He recorded a few like little books for him.
Oh my gosh.
And a few things like that, which makes me sick. They're all on the top of our oldest son's name is Braden. They're all on the top of his closet. But I mean, yeah, you do kind of prepare for those things, heaven forbid. And thankfully where he was, I got to talk to him a few times a week. So that was nice. And I also, whenever we couldn't talk because the schedules for timing were so off, I would write things about Braden on my blog, and he could go and look at the pictures and read about them and stuff to keep up to date on him as well. But he came back and Braden was 7 months old or so, wow. Whenever he got back. And then on Braden's first birthday, he was deployed again. So he was gone a lot the first, I would say 2.5 to 3 years of Braden's life.
I've seen those viral videos of families being reunited, after either mom or dad has been deployed. And those always make me bawl like a baby. But what is it actually like to finally see your husband after he's been so far away in these life or death situations? What was that moment for you like?
You're shaking. You can't you can't think. You cannot even you can't explain. You just touch their face because they don't look the same that you thought that they looked. Like everything is so different. It's like when they get in bed beside you that night, you're like, is it you? Like, are you really here? It's surreal. But
did you stress about what outfit you were going to wear to see him for the first time after so long?
Because
that would be the number one thing for me.
I think it was a really bad outfit too. I can't remember what I wore.
Okay, so
I feel like it could not have been cute.
Let's shift gears just a little bit. You have over 300,000 eyes on you every single time that you post something online. What does that level of influencer feel like on a day-to-day basis?
I love it. I mean, I like to be around people. I feel like I have so many best friends. I have people that have never seen their face, but I know our conversations. I have friends online, and it is so fun. It's so fun. I used to do hair. I was actually an educator whenever I did hair. So I love being able to just share hair tips and makeup tips. It's so fun for me.
I can't tell you how many times I hear young conservative women in particular say to me, Alex, I can't speak up about my beliefs because I'm going to lose my job. I'll lose my friends. I'll lose my family members, whatever that is. And you faced the exact same fear. And let's talk about that. When did you first feel like, okay, I think I do feel ready to post things, at least hinting that maybe I'm conservative, but you didn't? So just the first time you thought maybe I want to post something, but you didn't.
So I didn't. Okay, so I never really felt led to post my politics until 2020. At that point, I wanted to, and I did. I got shut down real quick.
And what was it that you posted?
That was during the BLM protest. And so, do you want me to go into that?
Yeah. What did you say? What were your thoughts?
So it was the beginning of June, and it was when all of the rioting and looting and everything was going on. And for about a week and a half, I did not say anything. And then Blackout Tuesday came. Do you remember that?
Oh, of course. Yeah. The black square.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm pretty sure, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm the only one of my friends out of 50 plus influencers that did not post it.
What was that pressure like?
Got so much crap. And that's kind of where I got quiet. So I did not say anything. I didn't post it. And I had people coming in my DMs, followers, and not really, I wouldn't even say it was influencers at that point coming in my DMs, but followers were coming in my DMs. Why aren't you speaking up? Why aren't you saying this? Why are you doing that? Silence is worse than you saying what you have on your heart or whatever. So I got on and I basically said what I felt. I do not agree with the riots. I do not agree with burning down businesses. I do not agree with looting. I do not agree with any of it.
Was this on stories or your
post? On stories. It was on stories. So basically, I said that I did not agree with the rioting, the looting, the burning down businesses. And I said the reason that I did not post the black square was because I do not stand behind what the BLM movement stands for. As far as a Marxist, it's a communist. I don't want to get into it, but right. I don't agree with it.
No, you're exactly right.
And so I get nervous when I talk about it because I literally have PTSD from the backlash I got.
Well, what were some of the things that your followers were saying to you in DMs besides silence is violence? Why aren't you saying anything? Were you responding or ignoring
racist because I wasn't speaking up. I wasn't standing up for BLM, and I'm not racist whatsoever. And so then I actually the followers ended up DMing and messaging and emailing companies I had worked with in the past few weeks, telling them to cancel me. And I did have 2 companies cancel me. And then I had
name their names. I want to know point blank which brands dropped Jess or discriminated against her for being conservative. But before I do, I want to tell you that if you have a conservative-owned business or brand and you would like to advertise on the Spillover, you can contact our sales team at Turning Point USA to sponsor the show. If you've got a product or business that you think, CUTEservatives would use and love, let us know. Just email ads@tpusa.com.
I did have 2 companies cancel me. And then
Who?
I had
Name their names.
Billy Razor
Okay.
canceled me, and Mixbook, which I had just finished a Mother's Day campaign with them, and they made me take everything down because they didn't agree with me saying that I disagreed with rioting and looting and all of the things.
That's absolutely freaking unbelievable to me.
It was crazy.
Unbelievable to me. And let me guess, most of the people that were DMing brands telling them you need to drop this girl because she's posting conservative beliefs, do a lot of them still follow you just to troll you and see what else you're going to say to piss them off?
That's probably who was here later on this past fall. I guarantee that's who came back. But I'm sure some people hate follow for sure.
Yes, they hate follow. And I think that they're even more engaged with our pages when they hate us, because it's like they like to be on edge and enraged to see what we're going to say next.
Yes, they're waiting for it.
So you don't post a black square, the brands drop you. What did you say to the brands when they said, please delete our post or we're not going to work with you any longer? Were you nice back or did you let them have it?
So two of them, the Billy Razor was actually through an affiliate company. So I had to speak with that affiliate company. I did not talk to the brand directly. And I asked to get on a phone call because I wanted to be able to defend myself. I got on the phone call with the girl, and I'm not saying this is not a reflection on the affiliate company. I think this is a reflection on their employee that I spoke to. But she basically told me that she was agreed with Billy Razor and that I needed to read some anti-racism books, which was super fun. So then I basically ended it in tears. Honestly, I failed. Like, I was in tears. I didn't stand up for myself. I shut up. I actually had to have a phone call with the CBD brand afterwards as well. They didn't end up canceling me, but they wanted to hear my backstory and they let me explain myself. They actually did stick with me for a little while. I ended up canceling it later on just because I didn't feel like it was the right fit. But they did ask me why I followed accounts such as Tommy Lahren and Candace Owens and other right-winged accounts. And I had a little more courage at this point. And I was like, because I agree with their values. I agree with what they're saying. I feel the same way they do. I don't say it on my social media, but I agree.
And what did they say?
Nothing. They were like, okay, I guess, okay. Like, what could they say?
Well, that's interesting, though, the ones that stuck with you, and they did ask you, why do you follow these other conservatives? And when you just said, because I agree with them, it was almost like they were expecting you to apologize and cower when you didn't.
Right.
They just said,
I did it.
All right.
But they didn't give me a lot of grief, thankfully, but they asked for the call. So obviously, but we ended up working together for several months after that. So they did give me a chance. I'm thankful for that. But I actually ended up canceling it because I didn't feel like it was the right fit for me.
So the Black Square controversy happens, which so many people remember. That was a huge deal for.
I mean, it kind of happened again this year too, right?
Right.
Did they redo it?
Yes. So the Black Square stuff happens. How many followers do you have before and after that controversy? Do you remember roughly?
I don't remember losing more than 3,000 at that point.
Okay. So you lose some, and then you after that backlash, you got scared and you're like, okay, maybe I'm going to back off of politics. I'm not going to say anything for a while longer.
Yes. And it's funny because over the past year and a half, I've had so many influencers who did post that reach out to me, and I basically apologize, which I do not need an apology at all. But they're like, we did not realize how hard you had it by standing up for that. I didn't know what BLM was. I didn't know any of the backstory of this. And they're like, I've deleted my post, or I regret posting it, or now I have all these people who think I feel this way and I don't feel this way.
You're talking about mega fashion mommy blogger type Instagram influencers.
They had no clue what they were posting.
They posted the Black Square. They regretted it, saw the backlash you got for not posting it, reached out to you and said, I am so sorry. I should have stood by you. I wish I would have stood by your side. And also, I regret going with the crowd.
And a lot of them deleted it. I'm not going to call any of them out, but if you go look, they deleted it.
That's amazing. Do you think that were they posting Black Squares as conservatives, just not super well known? Or were they not even political at that point, but then became political over the year of 2020?
Oh, I see what you're asking. No, they were not political at all. They actually still are not. They still are very silent. But they did not know what the BLM movement was. They did not know anything about it. And honestly, to be honest, I wouldn't have really either had it not been for my husband. I had not researched into it. I hadn't looked into it. when I saw that it was happening, I was like, Ryan, should I do this? He was like, absolutely not. And he like educated me on everything. So I'm very thankful I had him to do that. Not everyone has that, but
absolutely.
He has my back.
And so how much time had passed between the Black Square debacle in 2020 and then you deciding, okay, actually, I'm going to start posting about being conservative again and just go full throttle?
It took a while. So I would post little. So even like during the election for Trump, we had so many Trump parties, and I could not in my house, like in our community. And I couldn't post a thing. I did not post a thing. I would every once in a while sneak in where we live on the beach. So people would have Trump flags. I would like zoom around the beach and you'd catch one, like, and you couldn't tell that it was like ours.
So when influencers do stuff like that and you see a Trump flag in the background or something like that, it could be like subtle hints.
Exactly. Like on our friend's boat, we'd have like DeSantis and Trump flags, and like I would like fan, but like you didn't know it was like our boat.
That's incredible.
So I did that for a while. But I honestly did not say anything until I got invited to the Herschel Walker event.
And talk about that.
I'm like, I am going to tell everybody I'm going to this. Like, I am excited. I am proud. I am ready. And I was over being quiet. And thankfully, there are so many like people coming out now. People are tired of being quiet. People are tired of being asleep. And so many people have led the way that I feel like they've opened some doors to where I feel more comfortable to come out now. And I hope that I am now doing that for other people. But
this political event was held where?
At Mar-a-Lago.
Okay, got it.
It was
Trump's resort.
Gorgeous. You've been there before, right?
Yes, it's absolutely stunning.
Beautiful.
And there's even I always try to explain to people, and I bet this was hard for you as an influencer. I know it's really hard for me because I like to post everything about my life too, is that there's some parts of the resort that they say like no cameras. You're not allowed to post. Yeah. And I was like, no, this is like so beautiful. I want to post. And people will yell at you. They'll be like, put your phone away.
Oh, yeah. They're there.
Top secret.
Yeah. The earpieces and all. I'm like, oh.
So you're going to be here. And did you know that President Trump was going to be at this event?
Yes.
So you're like, I've got to be able to post.
So I hinted. I said, let's say you're going to an event and it's a dinner, very fancy event, and President 45 is going to be there. What would you wear? And I did like a this or that. And then I was like, would your hair be up or down? And, I basically did that first. And all the DMs were like, oh my God, are you doing this? Are you doing this? Are you doing this? And then I had a few like, I would lose my appetite. I wouldn't go. I'm like, well, good for you. I'll eat your food.
Right.
So I hinted at it there. And then I didn't really say much. I think I might've said maybe one more thing about it, but I didn't talk about it a lot. So then we go, I record like the flight, Mar-a-Lago where I could, just like the pool area, basically. My mirror selfie in the bathroom. Yep. And like the dinner, the place setting has, the Herschel cookies, the Trump cookies, all the things. I posted several people speaking. I posted Christian Walker speaking, Tom Glavine, Don Jr., multiple people speaking, just like little snippets of it. And then we leave, nothing happens. Like no one really says anything. If anyone unfollowed me, I didn't really notice. And then I get home and I talk about the whole event and I explain to them, like, I don't have my photo. You can't have your phone when you're with Trump. I'm waiting on them to send me my photo. And then I explain like the whole, like, you only get one click, like heaven forbid your eyes are closed or like you didn't suck in for that 5 seconds. Like your photo's ruined.
Yeah, absolutely. And were you there by yourself or did you bring your husband?
My husband was there, and then two of our really good friends, Brittany and Brian Kelly, and then we were there with Herschel. So the picture was Herschel, Brittany, and BK, Trump, myself, and then my husband.
Is she an influencer too? That name sounds familiar. Am I just crazy?
Her husband is Florida Georgia Line.
Okay, so, that's how I know who that is.
She owns Tribe Kelly. She has a clothing line, but she does do some influencing as well. Yes,
got it. Okay,
but she's one of my good friends. So we were there with them. So they're all in our photo. So I'm like, the fact that like all of our eyes are open is amazing. But anyways, so I get on stories. I tell them the whole event. I tell them how it was started with prayer. Like it was such an amazing experience. Go into the whole spiel. I get a little hate or whatever, but nothing bad at all. So at this point, I've at least touched on it 3 times because before, during, and then after. So then when I posted the photo and like all of this craziness started happening, I was like, what is going on? I've given everyone like such a fair chance. Like,
Right.
How are you shocked? So as soon as we got the photo, it was about a week after the event, because I guess he has to approve it before. So we got the photo, and within like 10 minutes of me getting it, that sucker was on my feed. Like,
and what did you say in the caption?
I said, caption this, because I first typed out this really long, mushy gushy post, and I'm like, this sounds so stupid. So I deleted it, and I was like, I'm just gonna let everybody go at it. Like, the photo says enough on its own. So
and he's so tall, isn't he, President Trump?
He is the best. Yes. So they gave us like this whole spiel, like right before you go through like 10 people before you get to him. They're like, introduce yourself. He's you address him as Mr. President, this and that. And so I walk up there and I go, oh my God, I miss you. Can I hug you?
Did he hug you?
And he gave me the biggest hug. He was literally, I like almost started crying. I'm obsessed.
Oh my gosh,
I love
so
him so much.
That's
he
precious.
was so sweet, so sweet. We only got like a whopping like 1 minute with him, but like he was amazing. And then Herschel was there the whole time. He got to like hang out with us and ate dinner right beside like the table right beside us. But so when I posted it, I was so shocked. And I do think so. I did lose 11,000 followers the day that I posted that.
Wow.
Within 24 hours. I actually think I lost more than that. I think I lost probably like 13,000 plus, but I also think I gained between 3 and 4. So give or take, I think I evened out between 10 and 11 gone. And so I don't know that, but if you go read the comments, I haven't deleted any comments. That's good for engagement. You can go let me have it. I have thick skin. Like, 100%. Let's go. Yep. You're just increasing my engagement. So I left every comment up there. So if anyone wants to go have a heyday, there's this popcorn eating reading. But
well, the best part, the juiciest part, I will say for CUTEservatives, if you go to Jess's page, which is at Lipstick Heels and a Baby, and you look through the comments on her Trump picture, you can see a lot of positive comments from other influencers that you definitely follow. And I thought that was cool. So were some of those people also the people that had told you before, I regret not sticking up for you, and so now they had a chance to stick up for you again and then did say something positive?
It's funny you say that, because no, Well, so a lot of the girls that said that actually sent me DMs, like, because I shared the photo from my feed into my stories, and I got like the clapping emoji, like, you go girl, I love this, all of the supportive things. But I went and looked, not one of them liked the photo or commented on the photo. So the
same people that said, I wish I would have stood up for you.
And those are the ones also all posted the black square. The ones that commented on it have been so supportive, at least for the past year. Like, and they're obviously not as scared, but a lot of those girls, so some of those girls are some of my very best friends, and they actually got DMs from people from that post saying like, how dare you like a Trump photo? How dare you comment on a Trump photo?
And
so they started getting DMs too. Like one of my really good friends responded. She was like, how dare you come at me for supporting one of my best friends?
Hell yeah.
like sorry, I don't know if I can say that, but like, screw you.
Yes, no, you can absolutely say that. And yeah, screw them. I'm so tired of that stuff. And also the people that like announce that they're leaving in your comments, like, I'm unfollowing. Great, this isn't an airport. I don't need you to tell me when you're, coming and going.
Departing.
Yes.
Right.
It's so annoying. And people that think like that we really care that much. Like, I don't. I post, I've really gotten over recently just on my personal page, the amount of likes or comments. I just post what I want to post, no matter if it's stupid or if it's aesthetic or whatever. I just do what I want now. And the people that want to be there will be there. And if they don't, they don't. And you know what? They started to realize after bugging us for so long, like, how dare you post this? How dare you believe this? When we don't give in, they get tired of it because they're like, well, they're not going to change. So yeah, I guess I'm just going to stop DMing them.
How freeing is that? It's like such a weight off your shoulders.
I really do not get hate that much, hardly ever anymore, just because, this is what I do for a living, and I think most people are just used to it.
Yeah, I can't wait to be at that point.
You will. This is just the beginning.
Just coming.
Because this picture, the Trump stuff, you just posted that, a month ago, correct? In December of 2021?
Yes. First week of December.
Yeah. So, this is really the start because that's you really leaning in. And so you lose some followers. Any brands?
No, I'm shocked. None. And some big CEOs watched it. You could, because when they have the check marks and everything, they always pop up to the top of your stories. You can see it no matter how many people watch them. And didn't hear a word. I was like, oh.
That's great. Okay, so looking back on the Black Square stuff, do you feel like you were canceled or it was just a hardship that you ended up going through?
I don't feel like I was canceled as much as some other people have been. I definitely had it easier because it was just a few brands, but it still was enough to take away my confidence in speaking. But I honestly, since like the past few months have been so freeing. And if you I have a highlight on my story and it has the whole Mar-a-Lago highlight. It has where they can go watch exactly what I said afterwards, what I said in response to why I posted the Trump photo, why I support the right side. And so they can go see all that. That's still all up. And I left it up there for a reason because I still do have people message me like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you would do that. You have a daughter. How can you support him? And I'm like, so I left it there for a reason. I want people to be able to hear what I have to say. But it's so freeing because now I don't feel like I have to hide anything. Like when we're on the beach and our friends are flying a huge Trump flag in 2 years, I'm going to show that thing. Like, let's go.
Do you think that your fear after the initial pushback of the Black Square stuff, how you went through a pause there, if you're like, well, I'm going to take a break, I'm not going to post anything political for a while, and then influencers now that are terrified to share their conservative beliefs, do you feel like those fears for influencers are rooted more in the fear of being unpopular, being othered and outed in that way? Or is it more about losing income, that they're so scared to share that they're conservative?
Are you like why they don't share?
Right.
I think it is a little bit of both. At least in my case, it was. Mine was actually more so income I was worried about because like this is my livelihood. This is my paycheck. And just like some people can't speak in their office. Like I get it. Like sometimes some things don't need to be said. And I fully agree and understand that. But at the same time, this is America. We need to have freedom of speech. And that is so important. And if we do not stand up now, our kids are not going to be able to stand up.
Do you sympathize with your influencer blogger friends who are still terrified to post that they're conservative even when you know that they are privately? Or are you kind of sick of it and like, you need to buck up, Nancy, let's get this show on the road?
Buck up, Nancy.
That's kind of how I feel too. I mean, did having to be silent there for a minute really impact you emotionally at all?
Yeah, it made me a little angry. I've yelled at the TV a lot.
The double standard too of like, why do I have to be quiet and everybody else can't?
Exactly.
Out of all of the different types of influencers on Instagram, which type do you think is the worst?
What do you mean?
Just like the type of Instagrammer that bothers you, this type of blogger.
I would say the ones who are one thing on screen and another off screen.
Explain that. Like, what have you seen?
You mean
don't
a
have to
lot
name
of
names,
people? But no, yeah, well, I can't do that. I'll really be canceled. You go to a lot. Well, not as much lately, but you go to a lot of events as an influencer. New York Fashion Week, Miami Swim Week. You meet people at all of these events, and it's not so much that like some are really shy in person and not on Instagram. I'm not talking about that because I know that it's completely different to talk to someone in person versus when it's just you and your phone in your bathroom. It's completely different. I'm talking about people who are huge conservatives that online, they do not show that. They're hiding who they are.
Are there influencers?
I know it.
But Jess, are there influencers who actually lie and post liberal talking points but are conservative, or they don't go that far? I don't know, because now with the mandates, I don't know, because there are a few people who I'm actually shocked because I did think that they were conservative. By speaking to them, I've met them at multiple events. And then, for example, one of them had Fauci on her
she did an interview with Fauci on her Instagram. I can't even talk about it. I was like, what just happened?
Aren't people sick of this guy? Why would they want to watch that?
I was really shook, but so there's that. But some people, I don't know. I would just say people who are not authentic. I try really hard to be the same person online and offline. And I do think that any person in my life, any person that's met me can agree, like, I'm the same person. I'm a little crazy, a little loud.
What are the biggest misconceptions about being an influencer in the influencer life?
People think that you're like conceited, that you're really into yourself, and it's really not that way. I know so many girls who are so lacking self-confidence, and people think, like, I don't know why they think that. I guess because you're like always looking at yourself talking on your phone, but it's not that way at all.
I think what's really juicy, and I'm sure that you've seen this or heard about this, a lot of influencers have been quitting lately, like quitting their Instagrams or just dipping, like they've just not been heard of for a few months there. And, some of it is, I think it is like the cancel culture type stuff that they're sick of. But also what I'm seeing a lot of influencers complain about lately is just the algorithm changes on Instagram, how everything now has switched from, focusing on like pictures and videos to, regular videos to now everything needs to be reels, or we're not going to promote your page. And, these are all things that on a daily basis with my daily show POPlitics, where I cover pop culture from a conservative perspective on Instagram, these are the types of hoops we're constantly jumping through. Okay, how are we going to grow our page now with all these changes? It's so frustrating. And so a lot of people are just dipping. Have you heard about that, or why influencers are starting to quit? Because a lot of people are like, where's my favorite blogger? She's just missing.
I have heard about that. I think some of it is people are burnt out. I mean, honestly, but the algorithm does suck. It really is bad. And I have a management team, which I think most influencers do. And so they're obviously always trying to get you need to move your content to a podcast. You need to move your content to a YouTube, to whatever. And I think it is exhausting, really exhausting. I've seen a lot of like influencers taking breaks lately, taking like a week off, 2 weeks off. I think I have seen like two people. I have seen like a home blogger leave and someone else, but I think that maybe they're burnout. I do think the cancel culture is exhausting. I mean, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So
what is it that burns people out? Is it just the constant need to come up with some new content?
Yes, because if you are not on your stories, if you don't have a new story going every hour and pushing yourself back to the top, you're buried. So I think a lot of that is the algorithm. I think some of it is oversaturation. I mean, it is exhausting.
There's this really popular influencer, Naomi Davis. Do you know who I'm talking about? What is it? Taza?
Oh, okay. I didn't know her real name, but yeah.
Yes. Okay, so this was the craziest thing to me. I don't know if you know this, Jess. So she has like 5 kids or something. Her and her husband and her 5 kids were living in a New York City apartment for a long time. During the pandemic, her family decides they're going to move to Arizona. They get all this criticism. People, they like get in an RV and move to Arizona. And all of her followers say things like, you're spreading your germs all over the country. And so a couple months ago, that it was so bad for her since then. And that was, now a while ago, but it was so bad for such a long time that back, I believe in October was the last time she posted. She hasn't posted a story. She hasn't posted a feed post. She's vanished, just done. Her page is still there. I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping her friends and stuff know where she is. It seems like maybe she's just done or taking a break. But like, isn't that crazy? I mean, I didn't know if you'd heard about that and like what the reason could be.
I remember her doing the whole Arizona thing. Now that you say that, I completely forgot about that. I had no idea she disappeared.
Yes, go look at her page. It's freaky.
I don't know what they do for income at that point. Like, what is your job? What do you do?
Maybe they just made enough and they just said, I don't know what her husband does.
Good investment.
Yeah, and they're just like, we're done.
That money.
Or maybe she'll pop back up and she just wanted to take a break through the holidays, but she has been MIA. So, I mean, if an influencer decides to up and leave like that, do you think that they owe their followers an explanation of what's going on or no?
I would personally give them an explanation. I don't know that everyone would. I do. I love my people. Like the ones that are still there, I love them. So I 100, I couldn't do it. I couldn't leave. I'm like, I just miss you guys. Like, it is so fun for me to get on there every day and hang out. Like, I literally am so blessed to call this my job.
Do you ever worry about your kids someday growing up and being like, whoa, my whole life is documented?
Not about that.
I had noticed.
I do try to be respectful. Obviously, I don't like it when people post their children doing something embarrassing, like farting on camera or something. Like, that's weird. Like, I would never want to embarrass my children ever.
Well, out of nowhere, Amber Filler-Up Clark decided she's not showing her kids' faces anymore, and that has been in the last few weeks. And she's always posted them, their whole lives, and they're quite old now. I mean, and
everyone knows what they look like.
Everyone knows what they look like, but now she said, "I'm not showing their faces anymore as they grow up."
That's like Kristen Cavallari.
Yes.
Which I get it. No one knows what her kids look like.
Nobody knows what Kristen's kids look like. And she posted something recently. She got some heat for that because it was like a picture of her posing with the camera, but she made all of her kids turn around and they said that this is so rude and terrible for you to do to your kids.
Well, obviously, she took a normal photo before. That's just not the one she posted. I respect her. Like, honestly, I think that's fantastic that she does that. If I was at her level, I wouldn't it's way too late now, but like if I was at her level when I started, which basically she was, I respect the hell out of her for that.
Allie Stuckey is another conservative who
yes, I love her.
Yeah, Allie doesn't show her kids' faces either. She doesn't even say their names. I don't even know what her kids' names are.
I honestly don't know if I knew she had kids.
Yeah, she is.
That's good.
She hides them because I think she's worried just being conservative, and a conservative commentator.
Absolutely.
With death threats and stuff, something could happen to her kids. But I plan, for the record, one day, if God willing, I have kids, I'm showing them. I've already decided
I'm gonna show them babies off.
I'm showing those babies off. I've been like so excited for that time of my life. Since I've been a public figure, all I do is talk about I can't wait to be married and have kids one day. So like, you better believe it. Once that happens, I'm going to show it. Oh, I saw something that I wanted to ask you about, which made me laugh out loud. You went to SantaCon and started a Let's Go Brandon chant dressed up as Santa. That's hysterical.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever taken the Enneagram test?
Yes, I have. What are you?
An 8, which will an 8 wing 7, which will explain the whole thing. I am very out front.
I took it. I don't love it anymore, but I have taken it. I don't even remember because it was like one and done, and I don't even remember what I was. But I know that some people are obsessed with that, so they'll definitely know what you're talking about. I mean, so we'll play a clip here. What made you start that chant?
Okay. So we live on 30A. And if you've ever, we live in Florida. Florida is very free. We have a great governor. We do not have mask mandates. We do not have, it's just great. It's great. So when you start a chant like that somewhere else, you may not get the same response. When you start on 30A, the entire bar joins you.
That's so fun.
So I'm fed up. I am so sick of people telling me that you can't go to events. You can't do this. You can't do that. I'm going to go and I'm going to have fun. It's not a super spreader event. We're having a great time and I'm fed up. And so I just felt like supporting it.
I also love that you're a mom and you're still making time for yourself and your friends and going out.
That's so important. So important. If you lose yourself, I'm such a better mom when I have free time, whether or not it's out with friends, going to the spa, taking a bath, taking a nap. Like when I have my time, I am such a better mom afterwards. It's only fair to your kids to have time for yourself as well.
Would you say that video and coming on the spillover, it kind of just proves how far you've come and feeling confident enough to rep your conservative beliefs publicly?
Oh, I'm here, baby.
I love you. I want to party with you. I'm coming to 38.
Wait, I'm doing dry January though.
Oh gosh. All right.
February 1st.
Okay, February 1st. I'm coming to Florida to party with Jess.
Let's party.
So people that don't follow you already on Instagram, are you more of a fashion blogger? Are you more of a mom influencer posting parenting stuff, lifestyle stuff? Just what is your page?
I would say I'm majority like beauty. So hair, makeup, that is what I love the most. It's where my passion is. I used to be a hairstylist. I love it. And I feel like I do have a lot more to offer there. I absolutely love clothes. And I do try on sessions, but I would say I'm more beauty within makeup and hair.
What is it going to take for you to convince some of these other big influencer friends of yours that we all follow and love to also come out and own their conservative beliefs?
I'm trying, man. I mean, I have a group text with some of my very best friends, and it is 5 influencers, and 2 of them are pretty outspoken, as I am. The other 2, I love them. They're still very scared, very shy. They are the sweetest girls in the world. We're working on them. They're almost there. But then I have like another group of other friends that I'm close with, but not as close with. And they have 1 or 2 in their group that really speak out, and the rest of them kind of hide. But it's funny because there's multiple group chat, like text groups of conservative influencers that we all just like bounce off of each other and like support each other. Like, oh, I'm going to post this. Like, let's do what everyone says. Like, back me up. And so we're working on it.
I love that. And I think that your boldness and your unapologetic bravery is going to go far in this next year. Them just seeing you and you being an example of that, I think is going to be so inspirational for them. And just, people standing up in large numbers works. And so hopefully you're, maybe one of the first now, but you won't be one of the only ones in the next
hope not.
few years. So let's all support Jess and tell them what your Instagram is again.
It's at Lipstick Heels and a Baby.
Lipstick Heels and a Baby. I love it. Thank you so much for coming on the Spillover.
Thank you so much.
If you're asking me, I think Jess might be the most relatable guest that I've had on the Spillover yet. Somebody I could totally see myself being friends with in real life. It just felt like I was talking with a girlfriend. And you know how she called out some brands in this episode who discriminated against her for being conservative? Here's something really neat that Jess agreed to do for you. I told her that every single day I get asked what brands people should support that are conservative. You guys always are asking me, who are you shopping with? Who supports our values? So Jess said if you DM her and ask her, she will give you a list of a few brands that she works with that are supportive of free speech and conservative values. So I am very excited about that. I hope that you are too. Also, did you happen to watch the POPlitics story on Instagram last week? If you don't know, I host a short daily show on Instagram that covers pop culture from a conservative perspective. It's like if E! News and Fox News had a baby. It's all pink and orange. You can't miss it. Anyways, right after I posted last week's episode of The Spillover with country star Raylyn, I told you to go leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast, everybody at one time. And guess what? The Spillover jumped up on the charts and we made it into the top 120 of society and culture. Woo, 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 woo. Yes! So my goal is to always make the top 100 each episode. And that's, what we're trying to work towards this year in 2022. And this podcast is free. Okay, it's not a Patreon or behind a paywall. A lot of conservative brands, media brands and stuff, they're like, hey, it's $10 a month to listen to our show. I'm not asking you for any monies. I mean, if you want to give them, you can. We are a nonprofit, TPUSA.com. But the only thing that I ask that you do is to leave a 5-star review every time you listen to The Spillover, to share the episodes to your Instagram stories if they resonate with you. You don't have to do every single one, but if you liked it in particular, please share it. Make sure that you have clicked the subscribe button so that the new episodes automatically download to your phone. I have some A+++++ guests lined up for 2022. New episodes drop every Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific and midnight Eastern on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And you can even watch the episodes on POPlitics' YouTube and TPUSA Live at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. See you then for more tea spilling. I'm Alex Clark, and this is The Spillover. Love you, mean it. Bye.
Big dog status, I'm a big dog, I pull up on the block in a big